Alrighty. All right, I gotta do my good old fashioned. All right. What's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Highlight Reel. As you can see, for this week, it's just me. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just me for this episode because I got some things I want to talk about and everything. But I think it's funny that the last time, the last time we were in my crib and I was shooting the episode, uh, I shot a whole episode and my pants were ripped. I didn't even know that. I had no idea that my pants were ripped. I was just excited and like ready to shoot the episode. I was like, bro, let's bring it back, the highlight reel back with a visual, being goofy and everything. I think that's another reason why I didn't care. I was just being so goofy with it and I was so excited. But yeah, like I said, in my last episode that I shot by myself when I was at home, I had a hole in my pants and I had no idea about that until the episode was done. So I was like, dang, dude, how am I supposed to? I ain't gonna say I didn't want to put the stuff out, but because I had a hole in my pants, I was thinking, all right, it's gonna look real goofy and maybe immature or uh, unpolished, unprofessional. I could get all that, I understand that. But one of the reasons why I did it was kind of to push through it anyway, just to show that it's like no matter what, I'm putting this out because I already shot it. I had already shot it. I had already done it. So I was like, you know what? We just gonna go ahead and knock this out and make sure that everything's cool and everything's all right. So I did that, knocked it out, and I still liked the episode. I still liked the content that came from it, but I thought it was funny that happened to me. Of course, the very first episode of having a visual, there was a miscue. Basically, there was something that went wrong. But I think it's actually very funny and very fitting, I guess, for kind of what I'm trying to do. Because it's like no matter what, get it done. Try to find a way to get it done. Make sure it happens. Make it happen if this is something that you say you want to do. Because what I wanted to get into a little bit was how, okay, it's 2023, right? New year, new me. That's what a lot of people were saying, whatever. It's February, though. So pretty sure you got your trial month out the way. And I'm like, a lot of people were probably, a lot of goals that people may set for themselves. They think that they're going to just knock them all out in January, or you think that you might start on the trajectory you want in January. And then January happens and it comes and goes. And then you realize, all right, yeah, I need a reset. I need a reset. I think that's funny, but it's very relatable because I think a lot of people do that. It happens to a lot of people. So I'm thinking, because of that, it's like some people can maybe get a little discouraged because you think about what you want to accomplish for the whole year, and depending on how that's 1 month at the very beginning of the year goes, you're thinking, you know what, I'll try again next year, or I won't get it. It won't happen. I want this. It won't that. I don't think that's necessarily the best mindset to have, because that's like a self-limiting belief. You kind of believe in like, oh man, because I didn't do this won't happen or whatever. And that is not necessarily the best mindset to have. But I know that's something that a lot of people are probably going through because, like, it's February, Black History Month. Hopefully, people are feeling inspired, encouraged, especially Black people, of course, feeling inspired, encouraged, uplifted, enlightened, maybe just so many different things as this month happens. The Grammys recently just happened, so it's like maybe you saw your favorite artist do something, maybe you got inspired by that, or maybe your favorite team is going to the Super Bowl. Let's not get too much into that, but just different things that you may be seeing around this time that can encourage you. Like my favorite team is the Cincinnati Bengals, and yes, we're not going to the Super Bowl. Hate that, of course, but we do have 2 Black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. That is something to be inspired and encouraged about. Like that's the saving grace for it, saving grace in it. You know what I mean? So there are different things that you can use to get motivated for the rest of the year or the rest of your life. But of course, you should really just do one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time, so on and so forth. So it's like it starts with every day. And what I really wanted to talk about in this episode is how there like your goals kind of like the goal that you may set for yourself, they there's no really like don't limit yourself is what I'm really trying to get at, because there's something that I've been doing recently that there are a few things that I've been doing since the year started that keep me very consistent, that make me show up. And of course, one of those very things is the podcast itself, which is like my baby. So, I'm making sure I show up for that every day, or as much as I can, but it's basically every day. Show up for that because this is something that I want to grow and continue to improve. But then there's this other thing that I've been doing that I don't necessarily like to point out all the time, because I feel like a lot of people like to do it, or I don't know. I like to rap. If you only follow me through the highlight reel and you don't follow my personal pages, that's completely fine. But personally, I like to rap. I like to rap. So that's something that I've always loved, something I've always wanted to do, something I've always wanted to at least explore, because I've loved it since I was like 10 years old. I think the first time I ever wrote a rap, I was like 10 years old. And I'm 23. So it's not like I've been in it for that long, but I feel like it's one of those things that's never left my mind. It's one of those things that if you ask me what my dream was, that was like my dream, to be I would say, professional entertainer. That sounds weird too sometimes, but a rapper, like that's something I wanted to do. So that's something I've been doing, because I've been writing every day, and I try to drop a verse every day, right? And I wanted to do it for like 100 days straight. And I'm so far, I'm accomplishing that. As of this recording, I'm accomplishing that. But it's a very scary and very nerve-wracking thing to do, because I'll write something, then I'll put it out, and I do it every day. And that's scary, because it's like if you miss a day like this, it may be putting a lot of pressure on myself, but I try to look at it as it's putting pressure on myself to show up every day, because you don't want to. I feel like if you show up every day, that will lead to results. That'll lead to a growth that you may not have thought you could experience. Because as I've been doing this, one of my biggest fears when I was younger, as far as wanting to write or be a rapper or whatever, was like, how do rappers not run out of stuff to say? Or because my biggest issue when I was younger was I don't have nothing to talk about. I was like, I'll talk about love, all that stuff. It's like, whether the little bit of love I knew about, or if I didn't know about it at all, I just knew I loved love or whatever, and I liked girls. So it was like, it's easy to write about that stuff usually. But as far as other things in my life, I was like, how do I talk about that? So I always had a hard time with that. Now, because I've been doing this every day, I'm trying to force myself to just put things out in my head. It's like, whatever's in my head, just do something with it, put it out. And I've been learning a lot about myself in that process, because there have been some times where I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I don't know if I'll be able to maintain this, accomplish this. Like it's in my head, it's a lofty goal, because I never would write that much. So it's like, this is a lot for me to do. But in that, there have been some instances where I'm like, wow, this is like, there could potentially be something there, or at least something for me to learn and apply to my life and continue to apply to my life. Like, one of the things is, I wrote something, and it was like, I wrote like basically some of the stuff I've been writing. It might not even be my favorite thing. It's like, dang, this is not what I think is the best or whatever. But then I'll put something out, and then the response I may get to it, I try not to necessarily do it for the validation, but of course sometimes I might get a certain response that shows me, wow, I didn't even really like this as much as other people may like it. So then when other people are like, dude, I like that, or I watch it on my Instagram and see how many people watched it, it's like, oh snap, okay, so even if I don't like it, that doesn't mean that someone else won't. So try not to let that limit myself, as far as like my goals and things that I want to do, because it's like, all right, if you continue to show up, there is beauty in that, and you may see the fruit of that in some shape or fashion, because it's like, all right, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and it's scary and it's terrifying. I say that all the time to myself. I might even say it in a rap itself. It's like, dude, I'm scared, but I say that hopefully to at least show other people, like, yes, as confident as I may seem, I still get nervous, I still get scared and stuff, but you have to show up. I still show up, just because it's like, bro, I'm doing this for me, and hopefully you can get inspired by it, or maybe it's inspiring someone else to continue to really follow through on what it is that they want to do. Because it's like, bro, you shouldn't limit yourself. Like, whatever limits you think you have, I feel like in this process I've learned they're kind of not there. It's like whatever limit you have, you put that there most likely just because you are either scared of your own potential or you don't think you have the potential, when both of those could be very, very wrong. It's like, all right, I have the potential, I'm just not acting on it. So that's why you may feel a certain way about yourself as far as like, I can't do it because I haven't done it. Whereas when you start to do it and the more you do it, you start to realize, oh, hold up, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this consistently, shown up. So maybe I can do this. Maybe I can actually follow through on this. And that's what it's been showing me, because there would be days where I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm able to get this done. I really don't know if I'll be able to knock this out. Then I'll like knock something out and I'm thinking, dang, man, maybe I can do this. Maybe I really can do this. But it's that push that I've given myself. Now, if you can't always push yourself like that, it's good to have people in your corner to push you like that, because we all need that. It's always good to have support and people that may see something in you that you may not see, because it can help you to continue to push forward. I just know that, like I was saying, some of the stuff I've been doing, I'm like, wow, I don't know how I can maintain this. But then it might be just a seed of inspiration or a seed of like support. And someone will say, man, I like that. Like, that was hard when I had doubt about it. So if I have doubt, but someone else says they like it, or I see how maybe just because I didn't like it and I still put it out, or I still did something with it, I still followed through on it, there can be something beautiful that comes from it. And that's just what I want the takeaway to be. It's like, you may be scared, may be terrified to follow through on these goals, these lofty dreams that you may have, but try to start making a little bit of progress toward them. Just see what growth you may experience, because you may really start to see like, oh shoot, you know what, I'm actually really capable. And that starts to build confidence, because when you have fear and you're not doing nothing, you're not really making that fear go away. When you have fear but you continue to put in action, it shows to yourself. It's like, okay, yes, I'm nervous, but I did do this, I did do that. I can learn from this, because that's another way I try to look at it. Like I said, excuse me, my first episode, right? I had a hole in my pants, and it's goofy. That's goofy, right? Most people will probably be embarrassed for that, and yes, to an extent, it was embarrassing, but I look at it as funny, and then something where people can say, wow, off the bat, I can see that he was like, something was off, something was wrong, something was imperfect. But this, I still see it. I'm still like, he still put it out. And if he put it out, he probably saw it as well. So yeah, it's like, I still show up and still follow through, just because if you don't, you're kind of putting that limit back on yourself, you're letting that fear sit and you're letting it be, where you can fight it through your action. It's like, you know what? Yeah, but I'm gonna do that anyway, because it's a trial and error. It's a learning experience. And if you don't even try to go for what it is that you say you want, you have no chance of getting to it. And you need to learn on the way toward it, because you probably can't handle it right now, or just along the way, you will start to learn certain things that, you know what, I need to have this ready, or I need to learn this, I need to do this, I need to do this. Like, fun fact, this is the second time I'm shooting this episode. I was shooting a little bit of the episode, and then what happened? Basically, my audio interface that I have here by my side died. It just died in the middle of the recording. So I was like, oh shoot, okay. I didn't think it died though. I was thinking like, it's cut off on me before in the middle of recordings, but I'm like, that should be no problem. I should be able to knock that out. I saw that it was dying. I turned it back on to try and record again. This thing was dead. It was like dead. No batteries. Couldn't think of where I could find some. So I had to run to the store to go get some batteries to put in here to shoot another episode, to shoot this episode again. Thankfully, I didn't get crazy far, but it was far enough to even still be salty. It's like, dang, I gotta re-say all that again? Or it's just, you know what I mean? When you do something once and it flows out organically, then you feel like you gotta do it again. It's like, I don't know. I don't like that, or it's not gonna be the same. But as you can see here, I'm still like, I did it again. I'm showing up. I'm not gonna let that beat me, Because if I let it beat me, then I'm not going to get nowhere. I'm not going to make no progress. I need to make some progress. I need to make sure I'm getting better. I need to make sure that I continue to move forward toward everything I say I want, because I'm trying to go for it. I'm serious about, like, whatever I say I want to do. I don't want to be that person that says, all right, I'm going to do this. And then when people try to keep me accountable, or the people see me moving toward it, then they see me stop. It's like, nah, because you never know. That goal might end up being bigger than you, really. If you get to it, that might show someone else, oh, you know what? I can do that too. Like, I have another creative friend of mine. She did something every day for the month of January, right? Then I can see that other people were inspired by her, because now there's some other people that follow her or are interested in what she does, and they're doing something all of February, right? So it just shows, it goes to show, when you show up for yourself and when you show up for your goals, that inspires other people to show up for themselves and to show up for their goals. So I don't want people to limit themselves or think that you can't attain that goal. There just may be something that you need to prioritize, which is something else I've been learning. I might need to, if I want to make sure I do this, I might need to let go of this, let go of that, or put this to the side, pay more attention to that, use my time for this. You just have to do what you have to do, because, like, there's a certain level of compromise that you may be able to do, but, like, if this is something that you want, it's certain things that just cannot be compromised. There's some things you may have to knock out. So I'm doing that, and I think it's a very rewarding experience, because as scary as it is, it's like I'm still progressing forward with the podcast, with the rapping, as I was saying, and both have been very rewarding experiences, because I try not to get caught up in the numbers of things. It's like, all right, this didn't happen, or, everybody wants to go viral, right? Okay, get it. But when you don't, you feel discouraged, like, oh, now I can't. I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should do that. Well, are you even ready for that? Let's say you went viral. Are you going to maintain that? How would you maintain that? You need to be showing up first, because if you show up and then you go viral or something, there's a better chance that people are likely to stick around, because you at least showed up from the start. So that's just something I've been trying to do. And I knew last year in 2022, at the end of 2022, I was like, all right, you know what? This is just me, but I knew I was going to put a few things on my plate that required me to consistently show up, because I've realized that as much time as you think 6 months may be, it'll be gone before you know it. Like, when I lived in Columbus, lived there for a year, and I thought that year was going to be so long, and then it was over. So why not try to be as consistent as I can for 100 days? Like, let's just see how that goes. And also show people how long that is. Long, but then also show people how short that is. You might think that 100 days is a long time. 100 days will be done before you know it. January is over. So here we are in February. Then we got March. Then we got April. 100 days from the first is like the very beginning of April. It's April 10th. So it's like, just show up. See what you can accomplish. I don't think people should put limits on themselves. How do you plan to improve the chances of attaining your goal if you continue to, do negative self-talk and continue to put a limit on yourself, when that limit may not even be there? It's really something that's in your head. It's really a mental thing. As soon as you start to move toward it and try to attain it, the chances of you getting to it are already greater, because you already start to put in the action. You just have to continue to show up. It's just something that you have to do. And this has been a very rewarding experience, as I was saying. There'll be times where I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm going to write about. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. But I look at it like, something needs to be written. Something needs to be done. Do it. Show up. Because it'll be times where I'll talk to my friends. I'm like, man, I don't think I should do this, or I don't do that, whatever. I'll show them, and they'll be like, bro, that's good. Or, dude, why are you tripping? They won't trip. People aren't tripping on that. Just do it. Then I'll do it, and people like it. Again, I'm not doing it for them, but it's showing me that the doubt that I have is not as really important as me actually showing up to do it. It's like, all right, if I actually just show up and do it, then that doubt can start to go away. If you just have the doubt and you don't put any action toward it, toward this goal, toward this thing that you want to do, how do you plan to get rid of that fear and that doubt? How else will you do it? I would like to know, because I've only been learning through action. The more I do something, the more comfortable I get, because it's like, all right, I'm learning something. Even if something wasn't perfect, but then let's say halfway through it, I learned something new and I can start to apply it. It's like, oh shoot, okay, I'm on to something. I'm actually building something here. Let's continue to do that. So that's just where I've been. That's what I've been doing, and I feel like, especially I want to encourage, my black people and everything. It's like, yo, please show up. Whatever it is, just show up. Just get to it. Start on it, because it's probably a little bigger than you, but it's a very rewarding experience for you, because you'll inspire yourself. You'll be more confident in yourself. You'll be proud of yourself, and it'll help you. Like, you'll really kind of appreciate yourself more. It's like, man, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. And that's a huge self-esteem boost. And then, of course, other people might see you and they say, man, I see the work you're doing. I see the work you're doing. Because when you get that, because I've been getting a little bit of that, even if it's like 3 or 4 people, it's like powerful. It's powerful, because when people say they see you and after some of the work you're doing, it hopefully reinforces what it is that you're doing, because you're like, all right, I know I'm not doing it for them, but knowing that other people are seeing me shows that my work is not just going unnoticed, that there is some inspiration for others that's going on, as well as some respect from others that can see it's like, this is not an easy thing for people that are trying to do whatever it is they want to do. It's not easy to just show up, but life ain't gonna be easy. I feel like you might as well just show up instead of having your doubt and your fear, because it won't really take you anywhere compared to your actions. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to talk about. Just please don't limit yourself, because your goals, whatever limits you have, I'm telling you, they're probably not there. I feel like that's something I learned. That's one of my biggest takeaways I've learned since the first already. I'll be like, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. And then I'll surprise myself with commitment, or with just perseverance. It's like, wow, I remember 2 days ago, I didn't think this was going to get done, or I didn't think that was going to work. And here we are 5 days later. It's like, you know what? That actually worked out for me. I'm glad I continued to show up, and I'm glad I didn't just let that doubt overtake me, because it's not going to lead you to where you want to go. But yeah, someone wants to talk about something I can hopefully drop to the listener and drop to the viewer, and hopefully encourage you to continue to show up, believe that you can get this, whatever this goal is, done. Believe that you can get it done, and just make sure you're showing up for it. Like, please stay consistent, because that goal that you have and the limits that you put on it, those limits are probably put there by you. If you take that out of your mind and you just continue to actively show up and move toward it, I'm telling you, you can get that. I'm telling you from experience. There's been times where I've been scared, but I'll show up, I'll knock it out, and I was like, all right, on to the next thing. What's next? Because then you start to get excited. It's like, what's the next challenge? Let's see how I can continue to improve. Let's see how I can continue to get better. So, yeah, I just wanted to leave you with that. I hope that you leave inspired, encouraged, and know that you are seen as being a nervous person. Like, you can work through that, get through it, and you can attain what it is that you want. All right, I've been talking enough. But yeah, this has been your episode of the Highlight Reel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with me. As you can see, I'm sniffling a little bit. That's terrible, but again, it's gonna get done. It's gonna get done. This is my second time shooting this. Didn't let that stop me. Just don't let that stop you. You can get to it. All right, this has been your episode of the Highlight Reel. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tapping in. Follow us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you are listening to this and tuned in. But yeah, that's been your episode. So peace out.